Brian had always been an adrenaline junkie. Skydiving, street racing, anything that gave him a rush. But after an accident left him with a permanent limp, he turned to online sports gambling for his fix. He loved the thrill of risk, the high of a win. One night, while browsing his usual apps, a pop-up appeared on his screen. You've been invited to Bet Beyond. Bigger risks. Bigger rewards. Brian clicked without hesitation. The app's interface was slick but unsettling. The background was black, with faint red lines pulsing like veins. The login page required only a name, no credit card, no email. Just a name. When Brian typed his, the screen flickered, and a message appeared. Welcome, Brian. Are you ready to gamble for your future? It felt cheesy, but he was intrigued. He placed his first bet, $50 on an obscure soccer match. When the underdogs scored an impossible goal in the final seconds, his account balance tripled. Brian was hooked. Over the next week, the app delivered on its promise. Every bet felt perfectly tailored, and he rarely lost. Each time he logged in, the interface grew more dynamic, showing him predictions, personal messages, even dreams he'd had the night before. The app didn't just know the games. It knew him. But then the bets started getting strange. One day, it offered Brian a $10,000 payout if he bet on a stranger's fate. Will the man in apartment 4A leave his house tomorrow? Yes/no. Brian lived in 4B. The man in 4A was a recluse he'd barely seen. Curiosity got the better of him, and he placed his bet. The next day, 4A's door remained shut. His account balance soared. The bets grew darker. Will a car crash occur at 3rd and Elm tonight? Will the grocery store clerk's power go out before midnight? Brian started to feel uneasy. It wasn't just guessing, it was as if the app controlled the outcomes. But the money was addictive, and his account balance now showed 6 figures. One night, the app presented a new wager. Bet on your own life. Outcome, alive or dead. Wager everything. Brian stared at the screen, his heart racing. This had to be a joke. But the timer at the bottom of the screen was counting down. If you don't play, you forfeit all your winnings. Sweat dripped down his face as he tapped alive. The screen flickered, and the room went cold. At first, nothing happened. Then, his lights went out. His phone screen glowed brighter, displaying a live feed of his own apartment. In the feed, shadowy figures moved behind him, figures that weren't there when he turned around. A notification popped up. The house always wins. Brian tried to exit the app, but his phone wouldn't respond. The figures in the feed grew closer, their faces featureless, their limbs elongated. The live feed showed them reaching for him. The last thing Brian heard was his own scream, distorted through his phone's speakers. When police entered Brian's apartment the next day, they found no trace of him. His phone lay on the table, the Bet Beyond app gone. Somewhere, someone else received the same invitation. You've been invited to Bet Beyond. Bigger risks. Bigger rewards.